So I kind of think I should say something about NaNoWriMo. I mean, it is kind of the writerly thing to do. If only I had something to say. That would help. I suppose it doesn't usually stop me. I kind of see NaNoWriMo as being like this holiday for writers. You know, like how there's a month celebrating African Americans and a month celebrating women? NaNoWriMo is the month celebrating writers. Which is cool, because I'm a big proponent of everybody having their own month. Mine is March. It's actually this really specific thing with rules and deadlines and blah blah blah. Nobody really cares about that. I usually just put off reading and watching TV for a month and spend that time writing instead. And even though I don't follow the letter of the law, I really do quite like the idea of NaNoWriMo. As I've said before, 98% of people in English-speaking countries want to write a book, but they never quite get around to doing it. NaNoWriMo is like a good friend who comes up to you, pats you on the back, at which point you kind of pull away because you don't actually really like being touched like that. But then NaNoWriMo leans in and gently says, "Hey, just do it. If your book sucks, which honestly it probably will, I've seen your writing, you can just edit it later. Or throw it away. I don't really care. I'm just tired of listening to how much you want to write a book already. I mean, seriously, man." I've never noticed before, but NaNoWriMo's kind of mean. Jack Kerouac, this crazy guy from like 60 years ago who wrote a book on a roll of toilet paper or something like that, he said in his rules of writing, "You're a genius at all times." Except he said it in a more lolcat sort of way. I mean, seriously, this guy did things like YR instead of your. He was so ahead of his time. And even though he was crazy and a little bit lazy with the spelling, I didn't actually particularly like his book. That's always stuck with me. You're a genius at all times. I know I've said before that if people stop being paid for creating entertainment, then we'll stop having high-quality entertainment, and I really do believe that. But people are never going to stop creating and wanting to create. It's like karaoke. Maybe you don't want to do the years of voice lessons and developing your tone and style and learning how to play an instrument and starting off in small clubs and slowly working your way up the ranks, leaving 8 people in a series of hotel rooms. Maybe you just want to stand on stage and sing a song. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm worried that sounds insulting, like I'm saying that if you're doing NaNoWriMo, you're not a good writer. And that's not the case. Actually, odds are that the best undiscovered writer in America is currently doing NaNoWriMo. What I'm trying to say is that it doesn't really matter whether you're good or bad, that it's good to just write for the sake of writing. And I think that's a lesson that professional writers can use to remember sometimes too. Because you know what? Sometimes you spend your whole life wanting to be a writer, and then all of a sudden you're 26 years old and writing is your job. And that's awesome. Of course it's awesome. So few people can say that, but at the same time you get so caught up in the revisions and the rewriting and the researching and the deadlines that every once in a while you forget that writing is something that you love. And you should never forget that. I'll fully admit that I don't think that any great pieces of literature come out of NaNoWriMo. That's not to say that great books aren't started or partially worked on during the month. I just really don't think that it's possible to write a truly great book in 30 days. Especially if it's on a roll of toilet paper. I don't see how that possibly could have seemed like a good idea. That said, I know I'll be celebrating National Writers Month, or whatever it's called. National November Writing Month. That can't possibly be right.